الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله يا ايها الذين امنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن الا وانتم مسلمون. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek Him for His assistance and forgiveness. We seek refuge with Him from our evils of our souls and our bad deeds. I testify there is no God but Allah, and none have the right to be worshipped but Allah. And I also testify that Muhammad ﷺ is His servant and messenger. O you who have believed, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in the state of Islam. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we must talk about the responsibility we Muslims have while we have the kalmah on our tongues and our hearts. We have the responsibility to sell Islam to those who do not believe and those who struggle to believe. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, this is one of the commandments Allah has given us. But in this khutbah, we will try to focus it from a different angle and the benefits that we gain when we do give da'wah. Because if we do not do da'wah, then those who have enmity to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam will do their da'wah against Islam. They will fill the void if we don't fill that void. Some of you may not know, but at one time, East Texas was one of the strongholds of many white supremacist groups, otherwise known as the KKK. But there were members in this community who understood their responsibility. At one time, this masjid was like Darul al-Arqam. You might ask me, what is Darul al-Arqam? Darul al-Arqam is the first Islamic school there ever was. In this school, the likes of many great Sahaba studied there, like Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, and many other Muhajirun. However, the situation of Darul al-Arqam was very difficult, surrounded by all sides, where enemies wanted to destroy Islam. This masjid was like that at one time. However, people from this community understood their responsibility to do da'wah. Some of the members from this community went to church, community center to community center, town hall to town hall, giving people the message, La ilaha illallah. And these people were doing it at a time where there was great confusion about Islam. In the Muslim world, secularism had taken over. Being a Muslim, even in places like Egypt and Syria, were difficult. But being a Muslim in a majority non-Muslim area like East Texas was even more difficult. Every day the news was plastered with people slandering Islam and people who benefited from people living in fear of Islam. And there were also people who wanted Islam to be destroyed. This is something that goes back before even our time. The message that the people from our community gave to those people willing to listen was the message of La ilaha illallah. And they also went to demonstrate that we are peaceful people, caring people, who care what happens to our communities just as much as they do. And alhamdulillah, many people listen. And we know that those people listen. Because on open house day, this masjid is filled with people willing to give an ear to Islam, willing to give an ear to people who are spreading the message of La ilaha illallah. Now it's true, not every single one of them converted to Islam, or this masjid would be full. But alhamdulillah, at the very least, their hearts were softened towards Islam. This effort did not come instantaneously. It took 25 years to get the news that get the turnout that we have today. So it was quite difficult. And in this effort, those people who did it, they will have their hasanah. And it's one of the fruits of their hard work and the barakah that Allah put in their hard work. May Allah give them their reward and give them Jannah. Ameen. Alhamdulillah, also members from this community also understood their responsibility. A man I know from this community, when he would hear someone would pass away, he would be the first to do the ghusl. He would rush. He would drop everything he was doing just to do the ghusl. You know, because every time there's a janazah, he's always the one washing the body. When they're putting the body into the grave, he's always trying to be the one who stands in the grave. As a young man living in this community, these things would impress me when I see it. In fact, these actions would give me an iman boost. May Allah give these people their reward in this life and the hereafter. Ameen. I say to my respected elders that we youth are watching you. We are observing you. And yes, Allah is also watching you. But we are watching you for benefit as well. You are our mentors. If you mentor Islam in a good way, we will understand Islam in a good way. If you mentor Islam in a bad way, we will take Islam as a bad way. And we might accept or reject Islam because of the way you practice Islam. Our MSA did great things too. We are the crops that people in this community planted 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 20 years ago. Some members from our MSA, they built relationships with the faculty members at UT Tyler. Just recently, someone posted or brought in anti-Islamic literature in the university and started spreading it out. A woman that many of the MSA members worked hard to build a successful relationship with became incinerated. How dare these people insult people that I know who are good people. Our president of our MSA went so far. She wanted to have a prayer room at the university. She led from the front and did it herself. Yes, we supported her, but that was her dream. And that is her hasana. This is the crops that you planted 25 years ago, 20 years ago. This is what you're seeing. Let me tell you a story of one of the Salaf. There was a man from the Salaf who decided one day he was going to go into Tabligh and sell the religion of La ilaha illallah. So he tells his wife, who was pregnant at the time, I have buried 30,000 dirhams in a place. If you need it, you can use it. During this time, the Muslims were a minority in the Muslim empire. In fact, the first 200 years of Islamic history, we were the minority in our own lands. This man from the Salaf understood his responsibility to do dawah. He would leave for 28 years. For 28 years, he would finally return home. It's a long time. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's what he did. And he returned home 28 years later, and he never came back once. And before he came back home. When he reached home, he asked the neighbors, does such and such woman still live here? They said, yes, she still lives there. So he knocks on the front door. A young man opens the front door. He begins to get upset. This is my home. And the young man says to him, this is my home. I've lived here my entire life. And an argument starts to happen. And the old man's wife comes out and says, this is our son. And then he calms down. So the old man, he eventually starts catching up with his family. What happened in these 28 years? And all these other things. So then he begins to inquire, what happened to the money I left behind? She said, it's near for the time of Salat al-Asr. Why don't you go pray? I'll go bring it out and show it to you and give it to you. So he says, okay. And he accepts this proposition. So when after Asr Salah, he begins to notice people were gathering around his son. They were asking him questions about Quran, questions about Hadith, questions about fiqh, and all sorts of questions. And each time he was asked a question, he would answer eloquently, beautifully. The father would be really impressed with him. Eventually, after everyone left, the father and the son, they would return back home. The father would say to his wife, I'm satisfied with the way you have raised our son. And she would tell him, the money you left behind me 28 years ago, this is what I've spent it on. She didn't lie. She said, I will bring it and show it to you. And she had shown it to him. This is the hard work that she showed. The young man in this story would later go on to be one of the teachers of Imam Malik, rahmatullah. If we were to analyze this story, we would realize the responsibility each member of this family had. We would notice the father had the responsibility to provide for his family and the responsibility to do dawah. We would notice that the mother had the responsibility to raise the child with a kalma on his tongue and in his heart. And we'd also note that she also had the responsibility to do dawah as well. The son also had a responsibility to teach the next generation. Allah had given the knowledge to him, so he has to teach the next generation. This is one of the commandments to those who know, who have knowledge. قولي قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, the point of these stories are for each of you to take action. You must take action to do your responsibility. If you can teach, then you need to teach. Through words and through actions. You need to do this jihad the way that you can only do it. Or the way that you can do it, that's able for you. Some of you have been given money, so I ask you to give that in the path of Allah. Some of you have been given time, so I say to you, give that in the path of Allah. Some of you have been given both, so I say to you, give both in the path of Allah. And some of you have not been given either time nor money. And I say to you, to be a well-wisher for those who are in the path of Allah. I'll tell you one more story. During the preparation for the expedition of Tabuk, there was a poor man by the name of Wathia ibn al-Aska, who was a young man who was very poor. But the expedition of Tabuk would be very difficult for anybody who was going. You needed a riding camel, you needed all sorts of things, preparation, weapons, armor. He didn't have a riding camel. So he went to the streets and he said, is there a man who will carry me on his riding camel? In return, I will give him part of my war spoils. What I am given as war spoils, I'll give to him. An old man from the Ansar took his offer. But he said to him, we will take turns, and in exchange, I will also give you food. Prepare food for you. Wathia would agree to his terms. And after this expedition, Wathia was given camels as his war spoils. When Wathia reached Medina, he began to divide his spoils with the man from the Ansar. The man from the Ansar would say to him, keep your camels, my nephew, because that's not the share that I wanted. So what share was he talking about? He was talking about a share of the rewards in the hereafter. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we have to talk about one more thing. It's really important for us to realize just how important this thing is. I know this is a difficult topic for us to talk about and to hear. Once a man was asked Sheikh Ibn Baz if two people who drink alcohol should either of them advise each other, and Sheikh Ibn Baz would say, no. But both of them should advise each other, and both of them should leave alcohol behind. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, if we stop talking about the sale of alcohol being haram, then I say to you, there will come a generation who will say that it is halal. And it is our destiny for not to care where our money comes from. This is a hadith, authentic hadith, that we know it's there. We can't be silent about this. Not now, not ever. And I know this is a difficult topic to discuss, but I say it's only difficult to discuss because Shaitan has put his fingers in your ears and made it difficult for you to hear. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, if you have a business that sells alcohol, I say to you, believing in Allah is fard, following the commands of Allah is fard for the believers and the disbelievers. When the disbelievers disbelieve in Allah, this is why they are given hellfire, because they neglected one of the fards, to believe in Allah. And I say to you, those who do sell alcohol, someone might come to you and tell you, you're doing this haram thing, so why do salah? Why do zakat? Why do hajj? Why do siyam? Why are you doing any of this? And I say to you, this person will try to confuse you, to get you to stop believing in Allah. Never stop believing in Allah. Because when you stop believing in Allah, then Allah will not make a way to leave this kind of business ever. And I also will say to you that this person is truly from the shaitan. He's friends with the shaitan. Because if someone was friends with Allah, they would call you to Allah, regardless of any issue. And I say to you, for the Muslims, the hellfire is haram for you. So do not make the halal haram and make the haram halal, or the hellfire will become halal for you and Jannah will become haram for you. O Allah, give us good in this life and the hereafter and save us from the hereafter. Ameen. O Allah, forgive us. O Allah, make us steadfast on the deeds Oh Allah, continue to give support to this community with people who understand their responsibility. Ameen. أقامك الصلاة.